What transforms a piece of jewelry into something more than the sum of its carats and fine metal? It is the history, the stories of love, power, succession, and family bonds, woven into the cool brilliance of diamonds and the warm glow of pearls. How can a single tiara become the ultimate symbol of acceptance into a royal family, a silent blessing, and a tangible link connecting generations? Today, we will tell the story of just such a piece. When Chrissy Vardinoiani, heiress to a powerful shipping dynasty, walked down the aisle of the Holy Church of St. Nicholas Ragavas in Athens, her head was crowned with more than just a tiara. It was a symbol, a legend, the ultimate seal of approval from the last queen of Greece. By wearing the Antique Corsage Tiara, Chrissy was stepping into the most sacred tradition of the Greek royal family, following in the footsteps of Crown Princess Marie Chantal, Princess Tatiana, and Princess Nina, the women who before her had received this adornment as a sign of their new status. On that day, marrying Prince Nikolaos, the second son of the late King Constantine and Queen Anne-Marie, Chrissy was not merely marrying a prince, she was becoming part of the living history of the House of Glucksburg. Her look was the embodiment of a modern fairy tale, a bespoke lace gown by Greek designer Christos Kostarelos, whose ethereal ruffles and delicate embroidery seemed to echo the graceful curves of the tiara itself. But it was the antique treasure of pearls and diamonds that became the centerpiece, transforming the bride into a true princess. This was not just an accessory, it was a statement. In the Athenian sunlight, the diamonds shone with a particular brilliance, as if to welcome a new chapter in the family's history. Behind this idyllic facade, however, lay a recent drama that made the tiara's appearance on Chrissy's head all the more significant. For only a few months prior, the same family, the same title, and, in the eyes of the public, the right to this tiara belonged to another woman. Prince Nikolaos, once dubbed the Playboy Prince by the press for his whirlwind social life in the company of stars like Jemima Khan and Elle Macpherson, had only announced his divorce from his first wife, Princess Tatiana, in April of 2024. Their marriage had lasted 14 years, and the separation, according to the official statement, was amicable. But the whirlwind of events that followed suggested otherwise. Rumors of a romance between the prince and Chrissy began to swirl after they were seen together at his sister's wedding, and by January their relationship was officially confirmed, followed by an engagement announcement in February. Such a rapid succession of events meant that the transfer of the tiara from one princess to another occurred almost instantaneously, turning the ancient jewel into a silent witness of personal drama and a new beginning. But to understand why the appearance of this specific tiara on Chrissy's head caused such a stir, we must delve into the very heart of this treasure, to deconstruct it, diamond by diamond and pearl by pearl, and comprehend what it truly represents. The Antique Corsage Tiara is a masterpiece of jewelry artistry, its elegance found in its apparent simplicity and flawless harmony. The base of the tiara is crafted from platinum and gold, a characteristic of adornments from its era, and features an intricate design of intertwining scrolls and garlands in the Rococo or early neoclassical style. The design is built around a central element, a large, natural drop-shaped pearl with a soft, almost cream-colored luster. From it, like ripples, flow delicate scrolls entirely encrusted with old mine-cut diamonds. These stones, known for their softer play of light compared to modern diamonds, do not shout their value, but rather shimmer, creating an effect of moonlight. The jewelers employed the milligraine technique, applying tiny beads along the edges of the metal setting, which lends the piece an airy quality and additional texture. The entire composition is infused with motifs of foliage and floral garlands, each element encrusted with smaller diamonds and round pearls, all perfectly balanced in size and color. Originally, this treasure was not a tiara. It was created as a corsage ornament, or stomacher, a large brooch designed to be fastened to the bodice of a formal gown. This explains its slightly asymmetrical yet harmonious design, which looks equally splendid on fabric and in the hair. Its transformation into a tiara was achieved by attaching the brooch to a slender, velvet-wrapped frame, which preserved the original work of art intact. This versatility is a hallmark of many royal jewels, allowing them to adapt to changing fashions and the needs of their owners. But how did this exquisite creation, now so strongly associated with Greece, begin its journey in the stern lands of Prussia, in an age of warrior kings and great empires? The history of the tiara, like a mist over an ancient castle, is shrouded in speculation. It is believed that its roots trace back to the reign of Frederick the Great in Prussia during the 18th century. Although there is no direct proof, the style and craftsmanship point to this era and region, known for its magnificent jewelers. The documented history begins later, around 1913, when the piece is found in the possession of Princess Louise of Prussia, Grand Duchess of Baden. Louise, the daughter of the first German Emperor, Wilhelm I, was one of the most influential women of her time, known for her intellect, political acumen, and charitable work. For such a figure, a jewel of this caliber was not merely an accessory, but a part of her official image, a symbol of the status and wealth of the German Empire. The Grand Duchess, who lived to a great age and witnessed the collapse of the world she had known, bequeathed the corsage brooch to her only daughter, Victoria of Baden, who by then had become Queen of Sweden through her marriage to King Gustav V. Thus, the Prussian treasure migrated to the Swedish royal treasury. Queen Victoria, a woman of fragile health but strong character, rarely appeared in public with this ornament. After her death, the brooch was inherited by her granddaughter, Princess Ingrid of Sweden, who was destined to become one of the greatest royal figures of the 20th century, the Queen of Denmark. It was in the hands of Queen Ingrid, renowned for her impeccable taste and profound understanding of the significance of royal regalia, that the jewel's history takes a dramatic turn. Ingrid, who became Queen of Denmark upon the accession of her husband, King Frederick IX, was a true guardian of tradition. She wore the corsage brooch only on the most solemn occasions, underscoring its historical value. For instance, she shone in it at a gala performance celebrating the 80th birthday of her grandfather, King Gustav V of Sweden, demonstrating the link between the two Scandinavian monarchies. Another landmark appearance was during a state visit to Great Britain in 1951, just 2 years before the coronation of Elizabeth II. At a reception in Buckingham Palace, the brooch on her gown was not just a decoration, but a diplomatic gesture, a reminder of the ancient dynastic ties that unite the royal houses of Europe. Queen Ingrid understood that jewelry is a language, and she was fluent in it. But the most important step in this jewel's history she took not for herself, but for her youngest daughter. So how did a simple, albeit magnificent brooch transform into the legendary wedding tiara that became the symbol of an entire dynasty? In 1964, Europe watched with bated breath one of the most celebrated royal romances of its time. The young Princess Anne-Marie of Denmark, youngest daughter of King Frederick IX and Queen Ingrid, was preparing to marry the young King Constantine II of Greece. This was not just a wedding, but a union of two dynasties, an event of immense political and symbolic importance. Anne-Marie was about to turn 18 years old, and her mother, Queen Ingrid, sought a special gift that would mark not only her daughter's coming of age, but also her entry into the new, complex, and responsible role of Queen of the Hellenes. The decision was brilliant in its foresight. Queen Ingrid commissioned the court jewelers, believed to be the House of Cartier, famous for its work in transforming historic jewels, to convert the antique Prussian corsage brooch into a tiara. The artisans approached the task with incredible tact. They did not alter the original design, but simply mounted it on a delicate frame, allowing the jewel to find a new life. A few days before the wedding, at Anne-Marie's 18th birthday celebration, Queen Ingrid presented her with this gift. It was more than a mere gift. It was a mother's blessing, the passing of a family heirloom, and the creation of a new symbol for a new queen. When Anne-Marie walked down the aisle in Athens, the tiara that shone on her head united the histories of Prussia, Sweden, and Denmark to begin its new Greek chapter. It is no wonder that this piece became one of Queen Anne-Marie's most cherished possessions. It was a witness to her transformation from princess to queen and a symbol of her mother's love. From that moment, the tiara became an inseparable part of the Greek royal family's history. But how exactly did it evolve from a queen's personal treasure into the primary bridal adornment for all women marrying into her family? As queen, Anne-Marie appeared in her beloved tiara at the most significant events. Over time, however, especially after the royal family's exile from Greece, the tiara's role changed. It became less a symbol of power and more a symbol of family unity and continuity. Queen Anne-Marie, with the wisdom of a true matriarch, established the tiara as a kind of symbolic heirloom, a sign of special favor and acceptance into the family for her daughters-in-law and daughters. The first to establish this new tradition was the American Marie Chantal Miller, who married Crown Prince Pavlos in 1995. Their wedding in London was a global event, and the bride's appearance in the Antique Corsage Tiara was seen as a powerful signal. The family accepted her unconditionally. Marie Chantal, with her innate sense of style, wore the tiara with elegance and after the wedding appeared in it at many formal events until she received the famous Miller fringe tiara as a gift from her own family. The next to take up the mantle was Venezuelan beauty Tatiana Blatnik in 2010 upon her marriage to Prince Nikolaos. Their romantic wedding on the Greek island of Spetses was filled with the symbolism of a return to their roots, and the tiara on the bride's head was its culmination. Tatiana, like Marie Chantal, wore the family heirloom after her wedding, for instance, at the 2013 wedding of Princess Madeleine of Sweden, underscoring her connection to the European royal community. In 2021, the tradition was continued by Nina Flor, a Swiss heiress and the creative director of the House of Fabergé, who became the wife of the youngest son, Prince Philippos. Her modern and stylish look was perfectly complemented by the historic jewel, demonstrating how timeless classicism can blend with 21st century fashion. And finally, in 2024, the circle was completed when Chrissy Vardinoiani wore the tiara for her wedding to the same Prince Nikolaos, whose previous wife had also been granted this honor. Each of these women, upon entering the family, received not just a jewel, but a key to its history, tangible proof that she was now an integral part of it. But was this tiara exclusively a wedding adornment? Or does its history hold other, no less interesting chapters involving other members of the royal family? Although the Antique Corsage Tiara became famous primarily as a wedding tiara, it has been worn on other occasions and by other princesses. Queen Anne-Marie's eldest daughter, Princess Alexia, appeared in it only once, which makes the occasion particularly noteworthy. It occurred in 1986 during a state visit by the Spanish royal family to Great Britain. At the formal banquet, the young Princess Alexia was seen in her mother's tiara, an appearance interpreted as a demonstration of the Greek royal family's status on the international stage, despite their exile. However, the most devoted admirer of the tiara, apart from the brides, has been the Queen's youngest daughter, Princess Theodora. Beginning with the 2004 wedding of Crown Prince Frederik of Denmark and Mary Donaldson, Theodora chose this very family heirloom for the most important royal events for nearly 2 decades. She appeared in it at the banquet for Queen Margrethe of Denmark's Ruby Jubilee in 2012, at the birthday celebrations for the Norwegian monarchs, and at many other events. For Theodora, an actress living in the United States, this tiara became a connecting thread to her royal heritage, a way to honor her mother and family at official receptions. Her frequent appearances in this jewel show that the tiara is not just a bridal accessory, but a living part of the collection, loved and actively used by different generations of women in one family. It is a witness not only to weddings, but also to jubilees, state visits, and family celebrations, a silent participant in all the key moments in the life of the House of Glucksburg. Thus, we have traced the path of this astonishing jewel, from the 18th century Prussian court through the treasuries of Sweden and Denmark to its transformation into the principal symbol of the Greek royal family. We have seen how it evolved from a corsage brooch into a tiara, from a personal gift into a sacred tradition. This tiara has graced the heads of queens, crown princesses, and princesses, bearing witness to love, unions, dramas, and new beginnings. It is not merely platinum, pearls, and diamonds. It is an alloy of history, family ties, and the unspoken rules understood within the closed world of monarchies. It is the embodiment of continuity in a family that, even after losing its throne, has not lost its dignity or its sense of dynastic community. And gazing upon its eternal radiance, one cannot help but wonder, what other stories will it tell in the future? Whose head will it crown next, opening a new page in the chronicles of this ancient lineage? What other jewels with a similar destiny do you know of? Share your stories in the comments below. We would be very interested to read your thoughts. And of course, if you enjoyed this journey into the world of royal treasures, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to our channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next fascinating story.